We're also tracking a decision from the Supreme Court of Canada. It will not allow an appeal from a group of BC First Nations who were looking to challenge the federal government's second approval of the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion. The decision effectively brings an end to the years-long legal challenge, but the group is vowing to continue their fight against the project. The CBC's Megan Batchelor has been following the developments from Vancouver. She joins us with more. Hey, Megan, great to see you. Tell us what the group of First Nations specifically was appealing and how they're reacting to this decision today.
Yeah, so Vashi, this group of First Nations was looking for the opportunity to appeal the federal cabinet decision to approve the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion project. Again, they did this back in June 2019. This group of First Nations includes the Coldwater Indian Band, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Squamish Nations. And their concern around the expansion project of the Trans Mountain Pipeline is the fact that the amount of bitumen that's going to be making its way from Alberta to the coast of BC is going to be tripled, therefore meaning there's going to be increased tanker traffic in the Burrard Inlet and the increased risk of a spill. And so their concern is environmental. They say too that their concern and their grounds for this application to appeal was the fact that there was little consultation with them. They feel like meaningful consultation was not done, and so therefore they say this is about more than just the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion project. This brings into question reconciliation and just how serious the federal government is about that. The groups involved held a video conference today reacting to the news. They are obviously disappointed, and here's more of what they had to say.
The concerns that we have brought to the federal government since 2014 remain unaddressed. This project remains risky for everyone. We are not deterred and are exploring all legal options available. What I can tell you today is that this is not the end of our story.
And so, Vashi, just what the next steps here possibly could be does remain the big question mark. Legally, they have run out of steam, have run out of cases to bring towards the court. There's been a number of legal battles over this. This really does appear to be the last legal option. We don't know what they might be referring to in terms of next steps, but they are vowing that this is not over for them, and they do not plan on seeing the completion of this project happening.
What about reaction to the decision from the government? What has that been so far?
So lots of reaction coming into this. Let's start with the federal government. The Natural Resources Minister issued a statement today. It reads in part, the Government of Canada welcomes this decision from the Supreme Court of Canada. Throughout renewed consultations with Indigenous groups, they work to address the issues originally identified by the FCA in its August 2018 decision. This was a responsibility the Government of Canada took very seriously, and that's about the consultation and its work with the government. It did in partnership with Indigenous groups. To those who are disappointed with today's Supreme Court of Canada decision, we see and we hear you. Reaction too coming in from a few provincial governments to talk about. Let's start with BC. Premier John Horgan here. Of course, we know that the NDP government here does not approve of this project. He said today, as far as he's concerned, he feels like litigation on the part of the provincial government, that door has closed, but he stands with the groups who are still opposed to this project. He says now he's going to be going into defensive mode for once this project is completed and protecting the waters from any risk of a spill. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney also reacting on the other side of this. He is very satisfied with this decision and hopes that this will mean that this project will move ahead completely smoothly. But as we know, Vashi, I would expect that there's going to be some protests in response to this and that it is not going to be a smooth road ahead.
All right, thanks, Megan. Appreciate that update. Megan Batchelor for us in Vancouver. Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.